Where's that gone? Oh, for God's sake. Ah, there we are. All right. Ah, sorry, darlings. I was a little late getting in tonight, but a very well. Hello, 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 and a very warm welcome to Tuesday Night Live. It's nothing less than a joy to be in your splendid company once again. You really are such an absolutely top of the range bunch of wonderful community members, and I couldn't love or want to nibble you any more than I actually do. Now then, I hope you've all had a splendid day. I hope you slept well last night. I hope you had an enjoyable day at work or doing whatever it is you've been doing. And I hope you've had a pleasant evening, including a nice meal, possibly a little glass of something. Right, who've I got? Jimmy Quinn, good evening. Good evening, Boaty, and all. Good evening to you. Cheeseburger, General Cheeseburger, the ultimate master of grand shithousery. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Oh, yeah. Don't forget Podger the Lodger. Our very own Rigsby will be after Miss Jones later. Oh, yeah, Podger the Lodger. That is the new feature, isn't it? Who would be your fantasy lodger that you would like to podger? I have had a thought on that, and I'm going to go for a quite early Bush, a young nubile Kate Bush, who you forget just how sexy she was. My goodness me, what an absolutely superb bit of crumpet. Um, Cheeseburger says we should have a new theme tune to replace Roger Botti. Replace Roger Botti? Surely Roger Botti is irreplaceable. To the tune of Help Me Rhonda by the Beach Boys. Podge the Podge the lodger, podge the lodger, podge the lodger tonight. Dun 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 dun. Tracy's here, the Greenwood evening all. Barry's here, good evening all. How are we all? How are we doing, and how is John? I haven't had an update on John. Perhaps we'll get one while we're live. Perhaps John is watching. Pingu is here. Pingu Concord. Beautiful, bouncy buttocks, Baron Boaty Bounder. I love Pingu. Oh, Neil is here, the lovely Neil, aka the Gibbinator. Oh. Uh, hello all, hope we are well. I bring good news. Oh, good news coming from Neil. Now sit up straight and get ready to receive the good news, please. Did you used to do country dancing at school? We used to do, excuse me, I do apologise for my wine burps. I mean, uh, I'm still not entirely over yesterday's hangover, which, that vodka is dreadful stuff. I'm never doing it again. Blood and sands. I've had another lost day today. Didn't get up till gone 11. It just zonks you out. Turns you into a zombie. It's no good at all. No good at all. I'm going back to a dear old, nice, steady bottle of wine. Much better for me. I can actually get up and do something tomorrow. So did you do country dancing at school? Now, we did country dancing. And whoever was sitting up the straightest with their arms folded got to choose their partner first. And I always used to sit up very straight and with my arms properly folded. So I could be the first to choose my partner. And I always chose Joanne Harris, who in my mind I called Vosine, because that was quite a popular shampoo back then. And on the lady in the television adverts had hair just like Joanne Harris's. And that was great. I mean, wasn't life simpler then, when you could just sit up straight and fold your arms and get the first choice of all the women? I wish it was like that now. Honestly, I wish I could just go into a pub or a nightclub, sit up straight, fold my arms, and teacher would say, right, and Jason, you can choose first. And I could just choose any woman that I wanted. Oh, I'd love that. God, wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, so much easier. So much easier. Or arranged marriages. They make life easier as well. Although you could end up with a right old munter, couldn't you? Country dancing at school. God, I used to really enjoy it. And I still like country music to this day. Like, only earlier this evening, I was listening to Down at the Twist and Shout by Mary Chapin Carpenter, or Chapin Carpenter. I don't know how she pronounces it. I've got no idea. If I got it wrong, I apologise to her. She's probably dead now anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. I mean, even when people are dead, you should pronounce their name properly, shouldn't you? It's just respect, really. God, imagine if you went to school with Kate Bush and you sat up really, really straight with your arms folded and you could choose Kate Bush. Oh, that would be fabulous. I wonder how tall she is. Somebody find out how tall Kate Bush is. I want to know if she's a perfect fantasy podger partner. Or should we have a guess how tall she is? I reckon she's about 5'4". But wouldn't it be fabulous if she was 5'8"? Well, it would for me anyway. I mean, if you're like a bloke that's 5'5", it might not be so fabulous for you. And, we've just got to deal with that. Oh, I didn't give you Neil's good news, did I? I was too busy talking about country dancing and sitting up straight. So sit up straight and I'll tell you the good news. Oh, I just need to check something. Oh, yes, I have. Thank goodness for that. I was panicking. I didn't have any, but I have. I've got one piece left. Oh, don't tell me in meters, Neil. I don't understand meters. I don't know how tall I am in meters, let alone anybody else. I don't understand me. I don't understand. Right. Does anybody else simply not understand the metric system? Right. I'm old school. Pounds and ounces, pounds, shillings, and pence. When people say that they're nearly saying 1.6 meters tall, I've got no idea how tall that is. I could work it out if I could be asked. I can't. But in my mind, 1.6 meters could be Tyson Fury or Jeanette Cranky. I honestly don't know. Oh, 5'2", Neil. Thank you very much for that, Neil. Oh, 5'2". Oh, she's a bit diminutive, isn't she? Oh, oh dear. Right. I might go with Pepsi instead because Pepsi looks taller. Neil, how tall is Pepsi? Poor old Neil. He's come along to a live stream and he's my leg man for finding out the heights of fantasy podger partners. I mean, 5'2". I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have porked the shorter woman. Boo was about 5 foot and a bit, 5'1" on a good day. Chinese madam was, I don't know how tall she was. I think she was about 5'3" or 5'4". She was another one who did it in meters. Oh, I couldn't podger in metric. I like old school pounds and stones and ounces podgering. But that's the point, you see. I don't understand metric. Like when they talk about weight, people's weight at work, they talk about kilograms. I don't know what a kilogram is. I don't know how many kilograms I am. Haven't got a clue. I can tell you how heavy I am in proper weight, in stones and pounds and that sort of thing. But kilograms, not a clue. Not a clue. I don't understand any metric, with the possible exception of kilometers. I think I understand kilometers roughly. Multiply by 5, divide by 8. Or is that something else? I might be confusing myself, but I can just about cope with the kilometre. And I can cope with kilometres per hour because, I've done a lot of driving overseas. So I know that 80 kilometres an hour is 50 miles an hour. And once you know that, you can work everything else out, can't you? I mean, I had my first Citroen XM, which was a Mark 1 XM 3-litre V6 SEI. That speedometer was in kilometres. Don't know why, because it was a right-hand drive car, but it was in kilometres. So I'm fine with that. And I'm also fine with driving a left-hand drive car. I haven't done it for a while. The last left hooker I drove was Steve's Luigi Little Fiat 500. But I've spent so long driving left hookers for so many miles. It's as natural as driving a right hooker to me. And I'd quite like a left-hand drive car now to keep my hand in, as it were. Have I ever owned a left-hand? Oh, well, here's a feature. Have you ever owned a left-hand drive car? And I'm trying to think what left-hand drive cars I've owned. Gosh, let's think. I had a 20-volt turbo Fiat Coupe in yellow. That was my French car for a while. I had, I had a Lincoln Continental Mark V Bill Blass limited edition. That was definitely left-hand drive. What else? Oh, Ferrari 355, obviously. I can't remember the others. They'll come back to me. I've had a few. And are you comfortable driving a left-hand drive and driving on the wrong side of the road? We should have a road trip to France, darlings. I haven't been to France for too long. We should have a little road trip just over to France and have a night in Boulogne-sur-Mer or something like that, somewhere relatively close to the tunnel. Although I've just remembered that my passport has expired, and unfortunately I've been too poor to renew it. Never mind. Shall I tell you Neil's good news? I think I ought to. Hello all. I'm just reminding you how Neil prefaced it. I don't know why Neil went off on one. I mean, he said, I've got some good news for you. And then he didn't give us the good news. He started going on about country dancing and some bird called Joanne Harris. and bloody the height of various pop stars. Somebody tell me how tall Pepsi is. I'd love it if she was about 5'8", 5'9". And he hasn't told us his good news. God, he talks a load of rubbish, that Neil. I mean, he's a lovely guy, don't get me wrong. I love him like a inflatable sex doll, but he does witter on, going on about left-hand drive cars when he's supposed to be telling us his good news. Get on with it, Neil. That's what I say. I mean, forgive me, no offence. You don't want to offend Neil because he's built like a shit brick house, or a brick shit house, whichever you prefer. And he's a highly skilled. Oh, now, who would win in a fight? Neil or what's his name? What's his name? The pretty boy. Tommy Fury. That's the one. Who would win in a fight? Neil or Tommy Fury? I think we should set it up and find out. We could earn a few bob with that. Neil, I'll manage you. You could take Tommy Fury. And then when you beat Tommy Fury, I'll set you up with some YouTubers. You can kick the shit out of that Jake Paul guy, who's really annoying. I'd enjoy that. And I'll be your second. I'll be the one in the ring who waves the towel at you and dabs Vaseline on your penis and gives you good advice like, I don't know, move your head about so he doesn't hit you and hit him on the nose. Right. Hopefully Neil will now finally get round to telling us his good news. Hello all, said Neil. Hope we are well. Well, we were until you started rattling on about fighting YouTubers, Neil. I bring good news. Yeah, well, you said that. You didn't tell us what it was. Here we are. I have acquired the new back box for Project Bruce and have temporarily fixed the overboost issue. Just waiting for the actuator to turn up tomorrow. That is good news. I am genuinely excited. Do apologise. I mean, I'm excited for Neil, obviously, but I'm a very selfish person. So I'm also excited for me because Oh, hello. It's John with an update. Let's have a look. Hi, Jason. I have a late update. I was going to do one this afternoon. Anyway, I'm back home with meds. Clot removed successfully. Yay! But they have given me a heart monitor I wear all the day and night. I've been sick a lot during the night. But the tumour is about the same size at present, so not bad news for a change. John. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, well, that's positive and hopeful, isn't it? So the clot has gone. They're monitoring your old jam tart, John. That's good. And the tumour hasn't grown. I mean, it would be better if you didn't have one at all, obviously. But it hasn't grown. So I'm sorry that you're having a miserable time and being sick and whatever and feeling like mad, as our French cousins would say. But that's a little bit more positive and hopeful. John, thank you very much for the update if you're watching now or when you watch this. And everybody will be very glad to hear that. I'm quite sure. So back to Neil and Project Bruce, which is, of course, his MGZT, the 1.8 turbo. Yeah, on a selfish note, I'm really looking forward to driving it. I've never driven one, and I would love to feel how a 1.8 turbo is in comparison to my 2.5 litre V6. They're supposed to be, many people say, the pick of the bunch. You haven't got that massively expensive 3-belt job every 4 or 5 years, whenever the interval is. And the 1.8 turbo should be more economical, and there's not that much difference in performance, not on paper anyway. It'd be interesting to see how that translates to the real world. The only danger of me driving is it is silver, and Neil will be putting it up for sale. And if I like it, that means I'm going to want it. If I don't like it, no problem. But if I do like it, that means I'll get him drunk and force him into having a deal with an MGF or TF or something. I know he half fancies one of those. What does that mean in English, Neil? Asked Cheeseburger. And Trace was just about to ask the same. And Neil explains it means I've got a new shiny piece for the back, and it goes like a stabbed rat now, without throwing me through the windscreen when the turbo is supposed to kick in. Ah, right, okay. Bad Books is with us. Good evening, all. Alan Jones is here. How lovely. Good evening, Mr. Boaty. How are you, sir? I'm terribly well, thank you. I have survived the worst hangover in the history of forever. So I've got that survivor euphoria. I'm so glad to be alive that I'm planning all sorts of amazing things, like buying excess toilet roll and having some salad for lunch tomorrow. I have got salad for lunch tomorrow, and I don't mind telling you. The wonderful Barry Scrotter is right in our midst. Hello, good morning all. Hello to you. Cheeseburger says he looks like a snooker referee the way he plays those candles. Just needs white gloves. I'll take that. Bad Books is asking Neil if the new back box is standard or fruity stainless. And it is a stainless power flow system, Neil has replied. Gosh. I've got a stainless system on something. Minge bag. Minge bag is stainless. And who remembers Fanny? I've got something to tell you about Fanny. Fantasy lodger for Podger, says Barry, is Linda Hamilton or Sarah Michelle Gellar. Oh, she was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, wasn't she? You seem a bit more human this evening, Boaty, says Bad Books. Yeah, God almighty. I was not in good shape last night, was I? 2 hours I did through that zombified hangover. Bloody hell. Now that is the sort of shit you should get a Blue Peter badge for. Kate Bush? Yes, please. Get in the queue, Barry. Help me, Roger. Help me, Roger, tonight. A very good evening, Boaty and everyone, says Andrew. It was the wife's birthday meal tonight, says Cheeseburger. The meal was good. Father-in-law, 84 years old, took the side of his Duke out, though, on a gatepost. Oh, dear. Oh, Neil did ballroom dancing in drama. Gosh. I can imagine, Neil, that for a big lump of a lad, I can imagine that you could be surprisingly graceful. I hated country dancing, says Barry. Loathed it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to do it now. I would genuinely like to do it now. I'd like to do Morris dancing as well, by the way, in an ironic sense, except it might turn out to be not ironic if I really enjoyed it. And I'd like to do that German dancing when you wear leather shorts and turn each other upside down and do slappy on the buttocks. Oh, imagine doing that with Kate Bush. Whoa, what? Kate Bush upturned in front of you, doing the slappy on the leather-clad buttocks. God. Well, that's tomorrow's wank taken care of. Ha! Marvellous. Simone is here, hooked on classics. How do? Hello, Simone. Lovely to have you. I had a dalliance, says Cheeseburger, with a spitting image of Kate Bush in my younger days. I was punching well above. Well done, you. There's another feature, isn't it? When have you punched well above your weight when it comes to a kind of romantic partner type thing? All of mine. Punching above the weight. Lisa. Lisa, I was punching way above my weight. Um, Robin, Chicago, that was really, really punching. Um, Obviously, the celebrity one night stand uh, singer that I've never told you who it is, and I probably never will unless you get me really drunk in person. But worldwide #1 hit. Ah, yeah. And what? I should say so. Uh, so there you go. There's feature number 56. When have you punched well above your weight, like Cheeseburger did with the with the young lady who was a spitting image of Kate Bush. Tricia Alderman is with us. Good evening to you. We did country dancing in the sports hall, says Bad Books. Yeah, it was brilliant. I loved country dancing. Tricia says, I have bronze and silver medals in ballroom dancing. Excellent. Mark says, Miss Booth, the English teacher, looked like Kate Bush. We were all infatuated with her. Well, and rightly so. Rightly so. Why would you not be? I was infatuated, as I've told you many times before, with my French teacher. She used to wear a quite tight blouse and a very lacy bra. And thanks to the tightness of the blouse, you got a glimpse of bra, and it was wonderful. And as I've told you many, many times before, the best thing was that I humped her when I was 21. Bless her. And as I've also told you many more times, many times before, my most famous teacher was Jackie Smith, who went on to become an MP and cabinet minister. And I never humped her and never wanted to, and I certainly don't want to now. I know we did a feature on politicians worth of pottering, but she's not on the list. She's not on the list. Bless her. I reckon Kate Bush isn't much taller than me, 5'2" or 5'3", says Trace, and you were bang on. Barry says Kate Bush is 5'3". Bush, 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 no income tax, no VAT, says Pingu. Oh, and that's from Google. Thank you, Barry. Metric system? Asked Cheeseburger. I like a quarter pounder. Yeah, I mean, a quarter pounder in metric, it's not the same. Nothing is as good in metric, if you ask me. And the jokes don't work in metric either, do they? If you've got a lady butcher, you can't go up to her. In metric, you can't do the joke saying, pound a fillet. Pound you bloody don't. I am 5'5", says Simone. Have we done this? Have we done heights? What height are we all? That would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? So we know Trace is... Oh, well, we don't know what Trace is. She said that Kate Bush isn't much taller than me, she reckons, 5'2" or 5'3". So that means that Trace is under 5'2". We know that Simone is 5'5", and we know that I am 6'5", exactly 1 foot taller than Simone. What height are you, darlings? Oh, you worked it out in your head, you clever chap, Neil. Oh, God, Cheeseburger. 5'2", you could bend her over the chemical toilet in Roger Boaty. Yeah, well, that doesn't always work like that, Cheeseburger, does it? Because, and I have some experience in bending ladies over lavatories or similar things, it doesn't work because I'm more legs. I am more legs than body. So for somebody who's 6'5", I'm more legs than torso, right? So I'm up here. Now somebody who's 5'2" has probably got short legs. So when they bend over presenting the target, I'm going to be, well, the part of me in question is going to be here, but the target is going to be down there, like where the table is. And that puts quite a strain on your thighs because you have to kind of squat down a bit, which is fine in your younger days when you were squatting. I used to squat, this is true. I used to squat 5 reps at £500, and that's quite impressive, or it used to be. I don't know what it. Neil, you can probably tell me. Is that still impressive now? I could do 5 reps squatting £500, and so lowering myself to the target area then wouldn't have been a problem. But now, I don't know. Oh well, let's see how long I can do it. I reckon after 10 seconds, I'm going to get uncontrollable shakes in my thighs. Oh, it is pretty impressive. Thank you. Yeah, I had really strong thighs and a really strong lower back because those were the areas that I worked on. They were the only two impressive things I could do in the gym were leg press and squatting. Because again, as I've told you before, and Cheeseburger will shout at me for talking about cycling, I needed strong legs, strong lower back, and my upper body, I just needed to be as light as possible. So, excuse me. So below the tits, it was high weight, low reps, and tits and above, arms and whatnot, then it was really, really high reps and low weight. Just get it down to near nothing. I mean, I was just like a stick man on massive. I had huge legs, huge legs. God, it's ridiculous. And if you're a cyclist, you have different musculature. You get is it the vastus internus? This muscle here that you build with cycling that very, very few other sports build. And mine used to come out like that. I couldn't hold my legs together because, oh God, it was ridiculous. And I had a hell of a game buying trousers. I had a hell of a game buying all sorts of clothes, actually, because I was like a 33-inch waist with 36-inch inside legs. So you try buying trousers, and then trying to buy a suit. I mean, I had I was like a 48-inch chest and a 34-inch waist. You try buying a suit when you're those measurements, it's bloody impossible. Oh, dear. That exhaust sounds like a nice bit of kit, Neil, says Mark. I had a favourite girl for country dancing, says Black Lines, who isn't called Mark. He's called something else. And he's not called Skid Mark either, before you think that he is. You keep making that mistake. Kirsty. I absolutely loved country dancing. Oh, Kirsty sounds nice. That's a lovely name for a country dancer. Do you know what she's doing now? I'd love to know what Joanne Harris is doing now. Oh, God. I think oh dear, I don't even remember Joanne Harris in middle school, let alone high school, let alone adult life. She was a primary school type of thing. Joanne Harris. Vosine. Oh dear. Simone, that's no good, says Cheeseburger. You're too short for Boaty. Too good. Yeah, you got it wrong. Too good for Boaty. Everybody's too good for me. 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres, says Andrew. I can't stand it, says Simone, when B&Q table stuff is in centimetres. Inches, please, for FFS. 5'2" you call that an airplane spin? Hello, oh gaseous one, says Stephen S. Paul. Oh, Andrew's got a dash. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, you too. I've owned everything, says Stephen S. Paul. Left, right, and centre. Oh, centre. Oh, talking about left-hand drive, right-hand drive. Centre drive. I've never owned a centre drive car. Or have I? Well, if you don't include like pedal cars or a Sinclair C5, I can't think of many centre drive cars. There's the McLaren, was it the P1? That's about it. I can't think of any others. I mean, there will be some veteran cars that were centre drive that I've driven, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. Buddy is driving a left-hand Jeep right now. Oh, there you are. Physiology question from Black Lines. If I had a 12-inch knob, would it in fact be a foot? Oh, and it's a Jeep Wrangler Sport left-hand drive that Buddy's driving. Can't beat a stainless rasp. Talking about exhaust. Oh, John must be watching. Wasn't the Bond Bug centre drive? Possibly it was, John, but I've never driven one. But you've got me thinking about microcars now. Gosh, I can't remember a centre drive. For some reason, the Matra Simca, whatever it is, Bagheera, that wasn't centre drive, was it? It just had three front seats. I drove one of those. I almost owned it. And I agree that you can't beat a stainless rasp. Minge bag sounds amazing. Cheeseburger has driven plenty of left hookers in the States. Strangely, I find it more difficult to keep them between the lines on the highway. I used to dread test drives in left-hand drive cars. Oh, there's another one I owned. A Pontiac Fiero that I bought. A dreadful car. And I bought it because a local company were transforming them, rebodying them into supposed kit car Testarossas. And people, for some unknown reason, were actually buying them. Jesus, they were awful enough in standard form. And with a stupid pretend Ferrari body on them, they were even worse. But I dreaded test drives in left-hand drive cars, letting the potential customer drive them. They all did the same thing. They invariably drove or drifted too far to the right. It's probably a standard thing to do if you're not accustomed to them. Oh, I had a 911. I had a left-hand drive 911. I did a magazine shoot with that. Can't remember much about it. I just remember I was commuting at the time. I was not married, but living with Maggie in Chesterfield. And I remember commuting in that left hooker 911 and taking the kids out in it. And I remember going to do a magazine shoot somewhere down Derby way, on the way to work one day. God, memories, eh? Hello, everyone, says Captain Mustard, Project Nigel. Hello, Mustard. How are you, darling? I'm sorry I wasn't on the best of form yesterday. Poor old Mustard. I mean, it's bad enough having to put up with me all day anyway, but a hungover me is like the worst version. I did give him Momo. Hopefully that made up for it a bit. Fighting YouTubers, says Cheeseburger. Neil can take on hubby. His stage name could be the Very Nice Man. God, could you imagine Neil and Hubner in a fight? I mean, that would be a bigger mismatch than, well, I mean, it would be cruel. It would actually be cruel. Dear me. I think if Neil was going to take on Hubner, we'd have to let Hubner tag team with somebody to make it into a bit of a challenge. I mean, if maybe like a tag team of Hubner, Steph, Matt, and pick one more, make it a team of 4. Who else is in that crowd? Let's make it interesting. Let's throw in James of Chop's Garage. So Neil against a tag team of Hubner. Who did I say? Hubner, Steph, Matt, and James. Oh, that would be an interesting one. That would, I mean, they could work tactics. It'd be like the old World of Sport wrestling on a Saturday afternoon when, dramatically the referee's back is turned and one of the tag team would break a fake stool over Neil's head and shoulders. That'd be really good, actually. Could you imagine Steph in a leotard smacking a stool over Neil's head? I'd pay to see that. Positive news, John, says Cheeseburger. Nice to hear. Lovely to hear from John, says Trace. Great news, John, says Stephen S. Paul. And John says, I'm here, chat. Evening and evening, Boaty. Great news, John. Wonderful to hear the opera successful from Simone. Mustard says, hello, John. And there was one that I missed. Where was that? Neil says, I'm not going to lie. The 1.8 turbo does fly. But does it fly like Stigbert? That is the question. Bruce from Mingebag, says Neil. That sounds like a deal. Well, I mean, we did say, I think it was Joe who said, not you. But it did say that the F and the TF, do I really need them both? And if a 1.8 turbo is, and it is the right colour. Oh, God. Things are getting strange, says Pingu. I'm starting to worry. This could be a case for Mulder and Scully. Oh, well, now that, of course, is Catatonia. And the wonderful Keris Matthews. That's her name. And on that note, I'm going to put Keris Matthews in as one of my fantasy lodgers. I mean, she's Welsh, she can sing, and she does my favourite version. If you go onto YouTube, and I know you all know how to do that, just do a search for Keris Matthews Sospenfach, Sospanfach. Now that's as Keris said in that video. If you're Welsh, you are born knowing that song, and it's absolutely true. It's every Welsh person's first memory is either singing or having sung to them, Sospenfach. And she did a great live version of it at the WOMAD festival. It's one of my favourites. My beast ready and ready breathe for all God's ready scrappy Johnny Bark. Suspen Bark, ready. And yeah, but Kenneth Matthews back in the day, well, even now, oh yeah, oh yeah. Nice to see you here, John. Says Cheeseburger. Keep fighting, John. Says Pingu. Uh, oh, good question, Bad Books. Are you still toileting excessively? It's petered off, thank God. It has petered off. I've managed it. There were 2 visits today rather than my normal one, but nothing like the excesses of yesterday, thank God. Fanny, asked Simone. I have very vague memories of one once. Was Fanny the late registered black special edition? Asked Bad Books. Yes, that was her. Fanny was Fanny Freestyle, the unique late registered '03 reg freestyle in anthracite. I mean, very rare car anyway in that color, in that spec, and then unique with the date of registration, originally penciled in for export to Germany. And yeah, unexpected Fanny news today. Now, obviously, Mustard, the unknown banker, and I sold Fanny to one of you guys, and I got a text today from the lovely Jake, who is a lovely, lovely young man. Now he's got loads of stuff on at the moment, and he's not been around the lives and whatnot in the way that he used to be. But he sent me a text to say that his friend has just bought Fanny. Uh, and could I remember anything about her? Uh, he remembered that I'd said that she was special, but could I remember anything about her? And of course, I remember all about her. Fabulous car. So I filled him in, and I'm going to send him a copy of the original build sheet. And yeah, Fanny is going to be doing the rounds of these shows next year, apparently, with Jake's mate. So that's good. It's nice to keep in touch with the cars that have been through the old hands. John says, I will keep fighting, chat. Nothing will beat me. I'm 100% positive. That's the bloody spirit, mate. Good for you. Glad to hear your good progress, John. I've been praying for you, mate, says Pingu. That's lovely. And it's great to have such great people supporting me, and I'm so grateful to you all. Oh, that's very sweet, John. And, there's a lot of love for you here, mate. Country dancing. Take your lodger by the hand. I'd say Joe, says Barry. My first girlfriend was definitely out of my league. I popped my cherry with Joe. Oh, good lad. Fuck off, Mustard. My mate told me I was punching way above with Lisa S. There's still this thing going around Rochdale that Mustard humped Lisa Stanfield, which he didn't at all, of course. He just decided he'd tell his workmates that, and it's become an urgent legend. So when Mustard is walking down the Milkston Road, they don't say, look at that guy with the overgrown beard and the multicoloured car and the enormous cock in his jogger bottoms. They say, oh, look, that's the one who shagged Lisa Stanfield. I'm amazed he didn't call his YouTube channel that. Imagine if the Project Nigel channel had been called I Shagged Lisa Stansfield. Would he have more or less subscribers? Punching above the weight, says Trace. Never actually did, but there was a model called Henry who really liked me back in the 90s. He was Irish, blue eyes, black hair, stunning. Only had eyes for me. But I wasn't available. Oh, well done you, Trace, for not giving in to temptation. Oh, bless you, John. I watched last night's live and started to cry as all the comments were emotional for me, and thank you all. Oh, bless you. Cheeseburger says, wasn't Jackie Smith the disgraced MP from Redditch? Yeah. Yeah, she was. Was she disgraced? It was her husband, wasn't it? Wasn't it her husband watching porn on the taxpayers' money or something? But yeah, that was it. I did, darlings. I did. I think it was the very first economics O level available. First time it was available. Before that, it was commerce, I think. And I did an economics O level. And Jackie Smith, the allegedly disgraced MP, was indeed my teacher. True story. And I went on to do my degree in economics, but it was nothing to do with Jackie Smith. Much more to do with a guy called Rod York, who I. God, he was a legend, that guy. He was an absolute legend. He was such a talented teacher that he actually made economics come alive. He made economics sexy. And that's quite a trick. I'm 5'2" or 5'3", says Trace, depending on what time of day it is and how fat I am that day. Neil is 6'3". Oh, Barry is also 6'3", or 6'5" in cowboy boots. I didn't imagine you being that tall, Barry. Cheeseburger says the last time you did heights was with the drain pipe of disappointment, and there were complaints. There were complaints. I've still got them marked. If you ever come to Windy Bum, darlings, have a look at the drain pipe of disappointment, and you will see all of Mustard's writing on there, where we wrote our estimated heights of famous YouTubers. I'm 5'8", says Mustard, who's a complete liar. How tall is Mustard? He's about 6'1", I think. Six one or 6'2", I think Mustard is. Definitely not 5'8". Video title from Cheeseburger. The difficulties of using a chemical toilet. Oh, I love that. That's a really good clickbait title. That could get me extra views, that could. The difficulties of using a chemical toilet. I love that. I love that because we know what it's talking about, but nobody else would. And I love those little in jokes between us. That's what makes our relationship special. We get it, and nobody outside would. It's just the 29 of us watching. How many likes have I got? 12 likes. 29 people watching and 12 likes. Hit that like button, please, darlings. I need to get my percentage up. Do me a favour. Take pity on a poor old fat man. That wine is so much nicer than, that awful vodka. Oh, it's bad stuff. Bad stuff. Does you no good at all. I'm glad to be back on the straight and narrow. A bottle of wine, some nice staff curry. Oh, I should get that out, actually. Oh, just caught it in time. Not quite frozen. Well, a little bit frozen. Let's get the curry out and ready. Start that on its route to defrosting. Oh, I think I need to wash the saucepan. I used that for lunch, didn't I? Yes, I did. I used to date tall men, says Trace, And the leg length wasn't an issue back then because the yellow pages were still a thing. Seriously, though, I mean, right, there's the old thing, isn't it? Oh, you're all the same height when you're lying down. And for horizontal pottering, yeah, not a problem. But when you get into doggy and stuff like that, leg length can and does become an issue, as does bending Kate Bush over a chemical toilet. I mean, had I ever been presented with Kate Bush, I would have made it work somehow. Don't you worry. John is 6'3.5". Bad Books is 6 foot. But he used to be 6'4". He started shrinking. You do shrink as you get older. It's curvature of the spine. So you're probably the same length, but you sort of curve over a bit so that when you're measured, you appear to be shorter. Neil says, I used to be pretty good at lifting. I could bench press all the weights that we had at the school gym and someone on the bar. I can believe that. I mean, you've seen Neil. I mean, he's. I could do that with a leg press. There was a gym that I went to that was like a leisure gym, not a serious gym. I didn't go to it out of choice. I went with Maggie. It was her gym, and there was kind of nothing for me there. So just for the crack, I got one of Maggie's. I put all of the weights on the leg press, and then got a mate to sit on it as well and press that. I mean, I could leg press 750 pounds without thinking about it. And in a leisure gym, you can't get anything like that sort of weight on there. Stephen S. Paul is 5'5" and single. Oh, God, I don't want to get involved in that. Twingo and the smart car centre drive, asked Cheeseburger. Smart card isn't. I'm sure the smart card isn't. Don't know about the Twingo, but I don't think it is. There was a centre drive Matra, I think, says Barry. I've got a vague recollection of the Matra. Oh, it definitely had 3 seats in the front, but I can't remember if it was centre drive with a seat each side or right-hand drive with 2 seats on the left. Stephen has driven plenty of centre drive industrial type trucks. They don't count. The Peel P50 is centre drive. Well, the Peel P50 is bloody. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, technically it is, but there's only 1 seat in there. Another title from Cheeseburger. Left or right hooker? What's your favourite? Oh, Hubnut's Invercar Tuck is centre drive too. Well done, Simone. Good shout. An answer from Blacklines. Kirsty, his country dancing partner, seems quite successful and hasn't a clue I exist. Not that I've looked on Facebook over the years. That would be weird. We've all Facebook stalked. That's a feature for, God, it's midnight. It's time to go. But that's a feature for another night, Facebook stalking. And obviously Facebook became a thing. Well, I don't know when it became a thing generally. Facebook became a thing for me in 2008. But we've all stalked pre-Facebook people on Facebook, haven't we? Oh, come on, you must have. I've certainly stalked my first girlfriend, my first proper girlfriend, Donna Louise Tranter. I stalked her. I found her. I stalked her. Come on, we all do that. Might be weird, but we all do it. The Beige Bomber and the Very Nice Man versus versus Hubby and Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. Oh God. I'm sorry, I need to read that again because this is why Cheeseburger deserves a knighthood and a television show all of his own. Oh, John, 2006, 2 years ahead of me. Ah, the year your eldest son was born. I was late to Facebook, darlings. The Beige Bomber and the Very Nice Man. So that's dear old Joseph and the lovely Neil. The Beige Bomber and the Very Nice Man versus Hub, the word I can't say, and Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. That is just the best thing I've ever read. Oh God. Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. That is fucking genius. Oh my God. Oh, I want to become successful now so that I can start doing these things. I mean, YouTubers, unless they get really massive, like Harry Metcalf or somebody like that, they're money hungry, right? And they will do pretty much anything for money. That's why they all advertise Lancaster Insurance, who we all know are a shower of total shit. But they'll do anything for money. And that means that if I was successful and had money to pay people, I could actually put that on. And I could make Ian and Matt fight as a tag team called Hub, the word I can't say, Hubknut. And Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. God. I'd love to use that as the title, and I daren't. I just daren't. And Matt is just such a lovely guy, but honestly, the masked cardboard. Wouldn't that be the best superhero ever? You could actually make a YouTube channel about that. You know, dress yourself up in a mask and just randomly infiltrate social situations and start talking about a car that you've reviewed. Kendo Mattasaki. You'd need to be Mine and Cheeseburger's vintage to understand the reference. It's a reference to a particular wrestler from the 1980s, Kendo Nagasaki. Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. Cheeseburger. Your career was wasted. You should have been a satirist on Channel 4. Oh, God. Oh, God. I want to have a night where we all meet up in a massive Airbnb somewhere. Maybe the one at Monsell Head that I keep talking about. And I just want to set up in the main room, only in one room, not everywhere, but in the main mingling room, like the dining room or whatever, set up 4 cameras and just record everything. Because that would, I mean, could you imagine? Oh God, I got the hiccups there. All of you lot on your best form with alcohol. Oh God, it would just be the best thing ever. I have an Englishman, says Stephen S. Paul, coming to take a look at my bike collection this Friday. What's the value of a tired but complete 74 John Player motorcycle, untouched? Engine turns but won't start. Not an idea. Not a clue. Ah, Rob, you're here. Lovely. I sold Fanny earlier this year for a one-owner, 28,000-mile black freestyle. Was a good deal and I couldn't let it slip through my hands. Fair enough. I wasn't judging you for selling her, my dear chap. Not in the least. It just came as a surprise. So you've got a 28k. Whoa, wow. Well, I hope you got a decent price for Fanny, Rob. I didn't ask Jake what his mate paid, and he didn't tell me. So, hopefully, you did okay. Yeah, I think it was Jackie Smith's husband, Cheeseburger. Yeah, that was it, Neil. Didn't he get caught watching Frankie Vaughan on his work PC? That was it. Yeah, and Jackie Smith was Home Secretary. Don't know what Tracy's having a totally different conversation with somebody. Oh God, I don't know. Mustard apologizes he needs to get on with the thumbnail for the collection video. Oh gosh, I need to go, darlings. Oh, Cheeseburger. Facebook. I stalked her, found her, and potted her. She moved in and I charge her rent. Matt is a nice guy, says Cheeseburger. It just fitted. And he follows up, I'm only funny after a bit. Oh, God, I love that. I love that. Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. Matt would take that in good spirit, in the spirit it was meant. We all love Matt. I mean, you can't not love Matt. When you meet him in real life, he's even nicer than he is in his videos. He's just utterly lovely. But he's also got a reasonably keen and robust sense of humour. So he wouldn't be offended. And also, bear in mind that when we're talking about fighting names and wrestling names, then they are like they're like different personalities, aren't they, that you put on? I mean, Big Daddy wasn't really like Big Daddy. Giant Haystacks wasn't a bastard. So Matt would understand that he was just playing a role when he became Kendo Mattasaki, the masked cardboard. Yes, well. The interesting difference between the facelift and the pre-facelift. It is Stephen, yeah. Oh dear. I didn't call it dogging, Trace. I called it doggy. I know the difference between dogging and doggy, for God's sake. What? My colleague was checking a customer online over a bad debt. Turned out he was in prison for pottering a Shetland pony, and his landlord was in prison for filming it. That poor Shetland pony. Yeah. And Cheeseburger says, BB, I think you need to write that one off. God. On that note, darlings, I'm going to say goodbye. Um, John, lovely that you caught up with us tonight. Thank you for keeping us in the loop. Great to hear that things are a little bit more positive now. And remember, we are all with you. Cheeseburger, you are a legend, and I can't wait to meet you and buy you a beer. Neil, great news about Project Bruce. Bruce, g'day, Bruce. And oh yeah, hit the like button, darlings. What am I up to? 18. Oh, that's not too bad, I suppose. I've really enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. You brighten up my everyday, even when I am hungover. And of course, I will be back, and hopefully you will too, to do this all again at 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Oh, he's not, is he? He's lowering the MX-5. Oh, you don't want to do that. I mean, the MX-5 is just right. It's just perfect. Don't be buggering about with it. Oh, dear. You know, I might just, nobody's going to know who we're talking about, are we? Nobody's going to know. I might call this live Kendo Mattasaki, the oh dear. I can't remember what the other title suggestion was. I just want to get Kendo Mattasaki in there somewhere. That's going to be the title. I'm just going to title it Kendo Mattasaki, the Masked Cowboy. I can't resist. I can't resist. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. No harm, no foul. 3, 2, 1. Oh, better out than in, darlings. Right, I'm going to bugger off and leave you in peace. I will. Yeah, exactly. They are low enough. They are low enough. Yeah, no. I mean, there's one that drives around Ripley that's been lowered, and it looks ridiculous. It can't get over a speed. Oh, it's just crazy. Anyway, darlings, have a safe and peaceful night. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for just being brilliant and making life amazing. And I'll see you tomorrow, 11 o'clock, Wednesday Night Live. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Sleep well. That's me waving.